What's up, humble farmers? Taiki here. So today I want to tell you a story of a time where the entire crypto community peer pressured a man into eating ass to save the entire crypto markets. And yes, this actually happened. So here's how it went down. So rewind to 2018, the markets are just wrecked, okay? Like Bitcoin just at 20K, but now it's at 6K. ETH is down bad, altcoins basically at zero. And everyone's broke, coping, and praying for anything good to happen to them. And amidst all this chaos, a meme was born. So it started on crypto Twitter, where a bunch of people just started to talk about how real men eat ass. Okay, like, I mean, don't ask me why, right? I'm just telling you it happened. But I think this is what happens when a bunch of grown-ass men that like just quit their jobs to trade crypto full-time at the top are like now just down a bunch of money, have nothing better to do with their lives. So they're just like chatting with other men on the internet. And it kind of like became this thing, right? And Romano, this pseudonymous dev, trader, shitposter, decided to join in on the conversation and was like, what the fuck are you guys talking about, right? Like that's disgusting. Like, I would never eat ass. I'm here to trade crypto, talk about crypto, but not about talking about eating ass or something, right? And you know, for whatever reason, the people decided to gang up on this guy, right? Like people just gave him shit, right? Like, you know, like not literally, but figuratively, and was like, yeah, like Romano, like this is why we can't have nice things, right? You're such a man child. You're such a child, right? And in fact, like this is why we're in a bear market, right? If these people aren't willing to eat ass, then of course they're not willing to buy the dip, right? Of course, coin prices keep going down because these fucking paper hand motherfuckers, and just people just decided to like gang up on this guy. And Romano was like, I mean, like, what are you guys talking about, right? I mean, and it kind of like started to become like a bigger thing, right? It was like a small thing and it became a bigger thing, and it kind of became like this running joke on crypto Twitter that once Romano eats ass, the bear market would be over and alt season would begin. And of course, I think if you're Romano, you're kind of annoyed at this, right? You don't want this to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So Romano was like, guys, I'm never doing this, okay? Like, don't even ask. And then as soon as he tweeted that, the markets went down, right? Like no joke, it just like went down. And everyone was like, yo, like Romano, we have to fulfill the prophecy, bro. And I think at some point Romano tweeted like, probably as a joke, right? He's like, okay, like maybe, right? Like maybe I'll do it for you guys. And then the market started pumping, right? And everyone's like, yo, like it's actually like, you know, like this is actually the prophecy. So what started off as a joke kind of started to become a real thing again. And then Romano, I think he kind of saw this and he was like, wait, like I don't want this to become a thing, and he kind of like dismissed everything. He's like, fuck that, and then like the market dumped again. So it was like, oh my god, like Romano is in charge of the markets. Until he actually eats ass, the bear market would never be over. And like, you know, this kind of meme started to take on some dangerous momentum. And I think one important thing to, you know, at least mention is that like we're all human, right? Like Romano is a human, you're a human, and I'm sure we've all gotten to a point where we've gotten so desperate. We've hit some low point in our lives where we would have done anything, right? To fix like whatever that like problem was, right? I can't speak for myself, but maybe, you know, you had a point, right, where you were willing to eat ass in order to save your grades or get that girl that you wanted, or, you know, like to fix that car, like whatever, right? And I think Romano hit that point, you know, at some point, because the bear market in 2018 was like fairly brutal, and there was like this porn star by the name of Brenna Sparks, who also was like this crypto advocate and, you know, used crypto to get paid, right, with doing like whatever, right? And, you know, she started to engage into prophecy, right? Like, it's like she was like, yeah, like I'll let you eat my ass if it meant crypto would pump. So, you know, she started to engage. So, you know, like there was a market there, right? There was like a supply of one and a demand of one. And Romano started to tweet out things of, yeah, guys, like, you know, like every time I buy Bitcoin, it keeps going down, you know, like I'm so desperate, guys, I'm down so much money. I'm willing to do anything, right? Like I'm willing to like lick her ass if it meant that, like even if she died, if it pumped the markets, I do it, right? And like that kind of, that particular tweet got a lot of engagement. So I think Romano knew what had to be done in order to save not only his bags, but everyone else's bags. And, you know, they say in markets, violent moves, right, up or down, can only happen when there is an unexpected surprise that hits the markets. And this happened. So around late August, Romano just out of nowhere posted this photo of him landing in Vegas. And I think he's like European and there's like a big time difference. So he was like taking drugs, and everyone was like, yo, like, wait, like this is happening, right? And the markets just started to pump on that news, right? Or the news of Romano, this like random European guy landing in Las Vegas, as weird as that is. And I think 24 hours later, this other porn star, I think, by the name of Bobby Dylan, posted this photo of this, like, allegedly, like this man, right? His face in someone's butt. You know, let's say, you know, I'll post a photo, right? Censor some parts of it so I don't get banned on YouTube. And I think the caption was like, yeah, like Romano did this to save the markets or something. So allegedly, like the man is Romano, and allegedly, like the big booty is Brenna Sparks's. Yeah, like you can't make this stuff up, right? And funny thing is, like, like with these photos and video, like all these things were taken down, so I had to like really look hard for them. So like now my search history is like just like messed up, right? It's like, you know, Romano eating ass, or like Brenna Sparks letting her eat, like whatever, right? Bobby Dylan, you know. So, you know, hopefully, you know, my search history isn't too tainted. So like don't say that I don't do anything for you guys. But the question is like the prophecy happened, and did it work? And the answer is yes. The market started to pump, you know, like actually started to pump. So I think, you know, this photo was posted on August 27th. So I think it's important to consider the price action of Bitcoin before and after this photo. So on August 20th, the price of Bitcoin was roughly $6,200. So I think the market cap was like roughly 108 billion, like $108 billion. But like a week after this photo was posted, so like early September, the price of Bitcoin was $7,400, right? So like that's a pretty big pump. And the market cap was 124 billion. So like Romano eating ass, he actually added $16 billion of market cap to Bitcoin, right? So I would say that's a pretty effective like version of eating the dip. I mean buying the dip. So it actually worked, right? Like it pumped, right? Like Romano ate ass and he saved the markets. So yeah, like that actually happened. But like, what's the takeaway here, right? The takeaway here isn't that like next time something bad is happening in your life that you should eat ass and they would like magically solve all your issues. That's not really the takeaway here, right? And I don't want that to be, you know, I don't want this video to be the cause of like, you know, ass play to go up and up only to the right. But I think the takeaway here, for at least for markets, in crypto markets, is that, you know, sometimes it's not about fundamentals or cash flow or anything, right? Sometimes it's about memes and like narrative, because vibes are important, narratives are important, and you know, in crypto, there's like this community element of, it's a bunch of these like rejects, right? These outcasts in life that decided to pursue crypto full time, and there's like this camaraderie there, and like this isn't like the only time this happened, right? In 2022, like during that brutal bear market, there was a time where someone posted this picture of Vitalik, right, the founder of Ethereum, having this big bulge in his pants, and that added roughly $40 billion worth of market cap to Ethereum. And I made a video on it if you want to check it out. I'll put the link in the description there. But you know, narratives, like fundamentals matter, but sometimes like memes and like these like fun things, right? Maybe it wasn't that fun for Romano, but like these fun things, right, from like the outsider's perspective, that bring communities closer. And it's these stories that we tell, that we look back on and be like, yeah, like, you know, crypto is a ridiculous industry, but that's why we love it, right? And sometimes there has to be a scapegoat in all this, and Romano definitely had to take one for the team. Who knows, right? Like maybe he actually became a real man after this, and maybe that was like a good experience, and he's like, you know, eating ass all the time. But anyways, I mean, I'm not really friends with Romano, so I can't really ask him these questions. But the reality is, you know, he ate ass. The market's pumped, and for that we salute him, right? We, you know, like even if you don't know who he is, right? Even if you're like buying crypto for the first time, you do have to respect the fact that, you know, he did what had to be done, right, in order for the entire community to be saved. And that, you know, brings me to a question that I want to ask you guys. Like, would you eat ass in order for you to solve your problems? Like, you know, like I'm sure a lot of like ETH maxis, right, that's been suffering for like the past 7 years, or like 5 years or 6 years. You know, I'm sure some of them would eat ass if it meant that Ethereum would go up. So, like, yeah, like, would you eat ass to save your bags? You know, well, what even is this video, right? I don't even know. Like, I actually never imagined that I would ask this question. But you know, like that's that's something worth asking, right? Like maybe, like even me, right? Like, you know, right now I'm sitting at this park, beautiful weather, right? Like, look at that, blue skies. And I would say to you with a straight face that I would not eat ass. But there would be a point, right, where if my family's life was on the line, and you know, like this guy was like, you know, if you don't eat ass, I'm gonna shoot your family, then I would have to eat ass, right? So technically, I think everyone would eat ass if it got to a certain point. Anyways, that's enough for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the story. If you want more, you know, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.